Hello, everybody. Happy Monday. We're going to be talking about high ticket and really like some of the most common myths we hear from our clients. I'm just trying to get this over to Laura's group and we'll go. So let me see. I just need to find
Yeah.
it.
It's such this is a really fun topic for me because I had such an aversion to high ticket sales when I started out in the coaching industry. In fact, no, scrap that. I had an aversion to sales, even like the $97 type. I remember actually selling my first $97 thing, freaking out, being like, oh my God, is anybody going to pay for this? Is anybody actually going to buy this? So to jump from that to high ticket sales has been quite the adventure.
Well,
And
and
I
it's a
think
game
still
changer for your
huge.
business. I'm just doing the title and then I'm all yours, everybody. And Sophie, just are you ready for high ticket? The common, what do we say? The common myths we hear.
Yeah.
Something
Yeah.
like that.
Thankfully, technology and high ticket sales do not have to go together.
Nope. That's the best part. Let's go. Okay. So we're talking about some of the most common things we hear, right, Sophie, about, high ticket versus low ticket. And, something else I definitely wanted us to really talk about is the sequence of things. So welcome everybody to our live. We're going to be talking and really some of the most common misconceptions we hear, some of the most common misconceptions we may have been fell for ourselves, and really what high ticket is all about. So let's begin, shall we?
Yeah. So, I think one of the things I want to talk about first is the feeling that comes with high ticket sales. Because I don't know about you, Jana, but that's the thing I find stops so many people from jumping into it because of that feeling of, oh my gosh, is anybody going to buy it? Or is it worth it? Or am I good enough? Or am I all these things that come up? And I know for these are all things that I used to struggle with, right? It was like, oh my gosh, high ticket, like big scary numbers, but also recognizing that that went away when I stopped attaching to the number. Like when you're so focused on the sale and closing the sale and the number, you kind of miss the entire point of sales in the first place, which is to actually serve your client or to give them, whether it be a product or service, right? Whatever that thing is shifting that focus was huge for me. Like so big. Just starting to ask different questions and ask myself, like, how can I serve my clients at a high ticket level? Then the money was literally a byproduct.
Yeah.
It seems so simple, but yet, I've worked with, I've worked with hundreds of clients at this point, and I see this over and over and over again, right? That fear of, oh my gosh. And it's the attachment to the money and attachment to the sale that makes it so hard. And so they underprice themselves, they undervalue themselves, they put out these offers and thinking, I know you've heard this before, but how many times have you heard your clients say, oh, it's just easier to sell like hundreds and hundreds of low ticket things than one high ticket thing, right? What do you think
Yes.
about that one?
Well, I think if there's a few things at play because, having been in essentially high ticket sales, even though it was medical sales, for decades, I didn't come into this space with the fear that you're speaking about. But I still thought that I had to
I'm
do
just
a,
doing the title and then I'm into this space with
well, is that me or you?
that was me. Sorry.
Okay. It's okay. So, I think also for some of this, so I want to speak to both sides of this because for others, I think they just think that they aren't ready for high ticket, that there's some common misconception that you have to start in low ticket and then you can move into high ticket, like when you like are worthy enough or whatever you want to call it. And so I think it comes on both sides, right? So what I experienced is I didn't realize when I came into this space that I was going to be chewed up and spit out by all of these different strategies. Like you have to have this, and you have to have this, and you have to have this, and like the first thing I bought of all the things, you guys, was a Reels course, how to
Mm.
go viral with Reels. And
I'm
at
pretty
the
sure I've
time it
listened to
did
some of
not feel cheap to me. And so what is my point in this is there's a sequence to things. And I think that that is the other reason that people get to thinking they have it backwards.
Mm,
They think high ticket comes later, and I have to start in low ticket. And to your point, yes, I know with my clients, even if they're not even consciously aware of it, that there is that underlying looming fear of, you know, having to do sales calls, having to ask somebody for money, having to say, this is how much it is without like throwing up, right? And
mhm,
so I think that that's the other piece. So it's really a two sides to that.
mhm,
But the truth is, you're going to have to learn how to remain unattached either way.
mhm,
And you may as well just get that one out of the way, because so long as we are attached and, have this outcome that we want, I mean, that's all the ego driven piece.
mhm,
And that's just really going to drive your business right off a cliff. I mean, it's so much easier once you get your intention right and get those other pieces set up. And then all of it works so much better. But I digress, because I wanted to definitely take a step back and talk more about this whole idea that high ticket is harder than low ticket. What are
mhm.
your thoughts on that?
So I used to think that way. I used to for sure think that high ticket was harder because there's more money at stake, right? But having sold both, I can tell you it is so much harder to sell a low ticket thing to the wrong person than a high ticket thing to the right person. Like, I think when people are investing high ticket, at least from my experience, they're not typically brand new people, right? They're not and that does happen in the industry, don't get me wrong, but they're not typically brand new people who are just jumping through, have never, not, like, never done anything before. And yeah, sure, there's snake oil salesmen and all the things out there, but I think, and I want to not touch on it. I want to get right to the core of this because the the biggest shift, I think, is that it's around the offer, right? It's like it's around the offer. It's like if you don't have an offer that's good that people want to buy, it doesn't matter what price point you put on it, it's going to be impossible or really hard to sell, right? So
100%.
when your offer is good, right? When your offer is good, now we're talking, right? Now we can match it to price points, we can match it to people, we can match it to the journey someone's on, we can match it to all these things. But I find, and to go back to your Reels video for a second, I did something similar. And I see people do this all the time, right? I people ask me all the time about marketing, right? How do I generate leads? How do I market? Okay, cool. I'll tell you. Tell me about your offer. Oh, well, I don't actually have that set up yet. Okay, well, that's the first problem, right? What are you generating leads to? What are you marketing to? What are you creating content for? Right. So, and I know this is a big pet peeve of yours, Jana, but let's talk about it for a second, right? It's
Did you
like
see me almost come out of my chair? I'm like,
I
ah,
did. I felt it.
simmer down.
But like the idea of that, there's so many people out there wanting to avoid sales and thinking that content is going to save them. It's not. It's not. You are literally throwing content in an algorithm that is not going to do anything if number one, you don't have an amazing offer that practically sells itself and you don't have a sales process to back that up. So I think to answer to kind of full circle around, I think it's easier to sell low or high ticket. I think it's harder to sell any offer that doesn't exist or it's just not what clients want to buy. But it's easier to sell a high ticket to the right person than low ticket to the wrong. And I'll leave it at that for now. We'll get into it, but
It's so true. And, I think something else, and I remember you bringing this to my attention over a year ago, like a long time ago, and you were like talking about how so many people are using, and I think this is where they get, so like I'm doing all the things and it's not working, but so often they're using a low ticket strategy to try to sell a high ticket thing.
100%.
And they think that, they're over there like, I need thousands and thousands of people, but really and truly, if you're selling high ticket, you don't. And so while you're focusing on all this, the content is going to save me, it doesn't match up, because at the end of the day, you don't need all of those people and you're spending all of your time doing something. And like you said, if you don't have the offer and it's not clear, like, what are you generating content, leads, all of that for in the first place? Because you're not taking them anywhere. And so the misconception I see the most is they're like, and I did it too. And I was in sales for a really long time, but because the rise of the influencer and the online business owner were very muddy. Like it was very like it all kind of got thrown into one. And so people thought I just need to have a lot of followers and that will equal sales. And that's not how it works.
Mm-mm.
Because most influencers are broke because they don't know how to monetize their audience. And so it's really, really important from day one, or now, if maybe today's not day one, that you do understand the intention of the content. You understand that it's pointing towards the offer. And in order to do that, you have to have the offer first in the system and, you know, what exactly you're leading them towards, because that's what you're going to create content around. And yeah, people just think if I'm just brilliant and I just show up and I be consistent and I add value, this is always my move for that. I get just then you know, miraculously people will just buy, and that's not how it works. People don't buy in a learning environment, for one, and then for two, they're not just buying knowledge. They're buying, you know, your interpretation, your experience, your transformation. And that is not well represented in, you know, a piece of content that just tells you like, here's the steps for X, Y, and Z. You know, I like to create what we call conversion content. But long story short.
Well, I think that, I mean, you've hit on it, right? A lot of people misunderstand that, you know, marketing and sales work very symbiotically together, right? I mean, that's how we come together so well, because it's like two sides of the puzzle. But, you know, for content to really do its job, you have to have a sales process. It's so much of it is a sales system, right? It's like a pre-selling system. So for content to convert, it has to have a foundation of sales and a sales system that it's filtering into, which part of that system is the offer, which is huge, right? And so kind of to go back a little bit about, you know, when you're talking about when it comes to, I mean, I just know that you just love talking about the content creation part of this, right? But talking about the systems, right? And this is, I think, the problem with funnel hacking, right? Is what people see, they see well-established funnels that are either low to high ticket sales systems or they're low ticket sales systems. And so they're hacking these marketing systems thinking it's what they need. Whereas high ticket sales is, you know, so many of my clients, they really want ease, right? They want ease, they want flow, they don't want complicated funnels to be pumping out all of this stuff all the time. Yet they're thinking that's what they need. And high ticket actually takes that away. You don't need any of it, right? It's like, actually, you need to understand how to sell. You need a great offer, and you need to be able to build great relationships, right? Without spamming and DMing, that cold, weird strategy that so many women, especially, just despise.
Well, it takes so much. I'm going to just refer to my handy dandy little 1985 slide here. And that is, you know, a lot of people are doing the ascension model, right? They come in, they're like, let me prove my worth and I'll start here in low ticket. And then eventually one day I'll graduate into high ticket. But the problem is exactly like what you said. That means now you're having to generate thousands of leads all over the internet, not to mention have a place for them all to land, for you to track them all. So now we're talking landing pages, CRMs, like talk about getting all down in the weeds with technology, you know, doing lead magnets and email series. And, you know, you have to be a copywriting ninja. And like, there's so many skill sets involved in making, you know, your $27, $97 thing work, you know, to the point where you can like actually put food on the table. You know, unfortunately, for most people, not everybody, it's just too much. And so they're in this 80% and they burn out because they didn't want to be an influencer and be a professional copywriter and all of these pieces, and they just can't quite get the margins, right, to like actually hire help or any of the other pieces, because this is not supposed to be a one-man show. All of that stuff, that funnel hacking that you were just talking about, those people have teams, and those teams have teams. So when it's a solopreneur's journey, the descension model is the way to go. Period. End of story. I don't know. I would love, yeah, anyway, I won't be too sassy about it. Bottom line, you start here, you work with a few clients at a higher price point, then all of a sudden the landing pages go away. Even the emails go away. The having to create content and be omnipresent goes away. And it now comes down to exactly what you said, having a solid offer, knowing how to communicate about it and have sales conversations, and
Mhm.
how to build relationships online.
Yeah,
And
100%.
all the rest, like if anybody's out there like I'm tired of doing all the things, then this is your model
Mhm.
because you
Which should
start
come as a
here.
huge relief to anybody that's not a fan of tech, because you can literally you
Yes.
just eliminated every tech funnel. Like
Right.
you don't have to go live on Facebook. You don't have to do all these things. And I think I just want to throw this out here too, because this is I'm a big fan of, do what kind of teach what you do in so much as like not having that disconnect because people could be watching and be like, well, Jana, you're selling high ticket, then what are you doing going live and all this tech? And I want to just throw this out here, a lot of these things are scaling activities.
Yes.
So, like they're scaling, right? So that's, you use the dissension model, right? Part of that model at the bottom, right? Once you have the high ticket, you have the relationships built, you have the offers, like part of that can be those lower ticket things after, right? But I mean, for you, Jana, I mean, you built your high ticket course before you built all of the funnels, before you built the marketing pieces out. And this is something that I wish I'd done the opposite way around, and something I tell my clients to do: learn sales before you learn marketing. Otherwise, what are you selling? You're gonna literally drive leads through an open door. Like I lost well over 10 million leads before I learned to sell. 10 million. Just think about that for a second. 10 million people viewed and saw my content before I made a single sale. Like to me now, I'm like, oh,
Yeah, and it's funny when, I've had worked with clients that are in that situation. And you think when you see them on Instagram or TikTok with their 150,000 followers that they are set,
you're
but they
not.
have no idea what to do with that audience, how to get them through that sales process, much less how to even create an offer. They think it's just all about like getting brand partnerships that pay, pennies on the click or dimes on the click or whatever it may be. And, it kind of hurts on both ends if you don't have this process lined up first. And then, like you said, I think I said at the beginning of this, if I didn't, I meant to. It's the operative word here is sequence. And that's what I didn't know when I came in. I had all these sales skills, but then everybody's like, you need this and you need that. No one bothered to mention to me that, oh, by the way, Jenna, right now, you don't need any of that. You don't need, the landing pages and all the complicated tech and the funnels and all of those things. I was actually cleaning out my Kartra because I've switched to go high level. You guys, oh my, do you know how many landing pages I had
Too
in
many.
there that no one ever landed on? Like all that work. And I don't ever
The
say for
closet.
nothing because to me, there's still reps in the game.
Mhm.
But it's like, it's not this if you build it, they will come situation. You have to get that offer lined up and like really dialed in and know how to communicate about it effectively with your ideal client. And everything builds from there. And then you can hire the team because I'm all about, like you were saying, like everybody stays in their genius zone. And then you hire the team that gets to stay in their genius zone. And
Mhm.
everybody's happy. And so then we get to spread the wealth around instead of being poor over here running around like a chicken with our head cut off, trying to do everything and be good at it all because we're not meant to. I just want to work with my clients. I don't know about you. I know I hear that a lot from my clients as well.
Just
Like, I
want to
just
serve.
want to
Yep.
offer the transformation. That's
Mhm.
it.
I'm being
And
the
so
genius, no,
that's,
for sure. And
yeah.
I think, I mean, I think, it's important to get to put around, like, there's no way of getting around sales, first and foremost. There is no way of getting around marketing to some degree. Do you have to have a huge, big tech funnel and all things? No, but you can't get around those things. But mastering them and doing it the simple, easy way gets you in your zone of genius to be able to do exactly what so many, especially coaches, want to do, right? Which is serve, like you said, serve the client.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah, share the transformations, do those things. And I think that's what's again, I always say build your business backwards, right? And this was advice that was given to me a really long time ago and I didn't listen to. And I tried to build my business forward, and now realizing that, the businesses that I have built backwards, they move so much faster. And what that looks like is exactly what you're describing, right? It's like you can say your marketing is like you're building the roads, right? All of those roads have to lead to Rome, but which is your offer. But if you don't have an offer, then there is no Rome. Like, where are
Right.
they leading? So it's like
Right.
having those setups and doing it this way. But now, whenever I'm building a new offer or a new course or a new program, whatever it is I'm building, I always build it backwards, right? Start with the people, start with selling it, then you can put it on autopilot, then you can generate leads to it, then you can put it on passive, then you can build funnels if you even want to. Some people don't, right? And there's nothing wrong with that either. There's this whole idea you have hundreds and thousands of clients. Some people don't want that, right? Which
Right.
also comes with a whole system and client systems. And not to put anybody off any of this, this is
No, and
fun.
we're not saying
It's
it's
super fun.
bad. It's just there's sequence to it.
Mhm.
And I do know of a few people that have made this, they were able to do this because they had the right genius zone and they
Mhm.
were able to build up to this. But
Mhm.
for 99.9% of people, this is not sustainable. This is breaking and keeping people in overwhelm and not getting them where they want to go. And the kicker is when you start here, you start exactly where you want to be, which is working closely with
Mhm.
your ideal clients,
I
which I have
think,
a lot of people over here like, I just want to do that. I'm like, then do it. That's where you want to be anyway.
I think
And so,
most importantly, though, when you get stuck in that big web, right, on the ascension side, and you're trying to figure it out, learn it, and do all the things, it's actually preventing you from being out there helping your clients at the level most people want to help them at,
yeah,
right? And
yeah.
it's not a fast way to cash either. Throwing it out
No.
there. So
You know how many
anyway,
people you need to make, 10K a month with a low ticket offer
oh, a
and
lot.
versus a high ticket offer? You know,
Wonderful.
one versus thousands,
Mhm. A lot.
thousands and thousands.
Well, with that being said, these times go so fast. I know we
I
screwed up with
know.
our own technology. I could talk about
Especially when we have tech issues.
ever, but I do have to run. So before we do, Jana, got something special here. Want to talk about it?
Yes, the masterclass for
Mhm.
Thursday. So if you guys are picking up what we're laying down and you're like, no, this sounds really good. I want to understand more how to start here or how to get over to this side of the equation so that I can really start serving clients at that higher level, start hitting those consistent income goals a lot faster, which is so, so key. I hope you will join Sophie and I. We have our masterclass this Thursday. So Thursday, December 5th at 11 a.m. for our VIPs. You get a whole extra hour with us, and we're all inside the Zoom room. And then for general, it starts at noon, and we're going to drop the link below. And if you comment VIP below in any of the places that this is streaming live, or we both actually have a special gift for you.
We do.
We
Awesome.
do. And I see a lot of comments coming up here, and we're in so many different places right now. So
I
I
know.
apologize if I'm not saying hi,
And
but
I can only see someone when I tried to pick up the other ones, it was overlaying. So I'm gonna go check out all those comments in the different places they're into.
yes, well, we love to all, and I hope to see you on Thursday so we can really start 2025 off right, get you dialed in on that high ticket offer, get you in that high ticket energy. And last thing I'll say, because I know you have to go, is if you're like, I don't know if I'm ready. Listen, bottom line, you created an entire business around your genius zone. You owe it to yourself and the people who are waiting and praying for what you have to offer to have a high ticket offer ready to go for them. Don't
Mhm.
sell yourself short. You obviously have something, a gift to give, so give it and stop playing small. Okay. So I hope to see you Thursday. All right.